If you are into the unity spirit, you believe there are many paths to God. Theologian Glenn Mosley and Unity Minister Martha Mosley are recent arrivals in our city. They are the new couple who lead Unity of Vancouver. Glenn has a PhD in transcultural, transracial, and interpersonal communications. He's a visionary theologian who has worked with the late Ted Kennedy, Maya Angelou, and Prince Philip. Martha is a minister, a marriage and family counselor, and the former VP of Education, Association of Unity Churches International. And it is my pleasure to welcome Glenn and Martha Mosley to Studio 4 to tell us more. And I think someplace along the way, you were the president of one of those, weren't you?
Yes, for 20 years.
How did you two meet?
At Unity.
At
Really?
Unity.
Really?
So there's romance in the unity.
Oh,
There
yes.
is.
Absolutely is. We worked together for about 5 years before we realized each other were there, more or less. Now, we worked very closely on a day-to-day basis, but...
And you thought about med school, taking out appendixes at one point.
I did graduate from pre-med, yes.
What called you to Unity?
Well, even before I went to college, I graduated from high school when I was 16 and had always planned to be a physician. And so when I was 16, I also started to Unity. But I was already registered, ready to go. So I decided to go ahead and take it because I wasn't sure. I almost immediately started flirting with the idea of going into ministry. I was excited as a teenager when I first came into it. And that's never waned so far as I know.
This is good.
I feel great. I love what I'm doing.
And Martha, you?
I went to Unity for a job. I was in a position that I was not working for me, and I was looking for a job, and there was a fit there. And so I went to Unity for a job and found a life.
And the spirit that runs through Unity, the philosophy, if you will, God-based, Jesus-based. Give me the mini course.
The mini course.
That'll only take a couple of hours.
Well, and this is a really good season to be talking about that mini course because it is our belief that Jesus said, of all the things that I do, there isn't anybody in the world who can't do it. In other words, he was saying, what I do, you can do also. And so we see that as a very close tie to what is a Christmas season, is to acknowledge not only that Spirit of God that he identified in people, but that he identified in you and me and the viewers and absolutely everybody in the world, regardless of whether or not they've ever heard his name. Makes no difference. That spirit is inherent in all humankind.
And embraces interfaith, embraces other religions.
Closely.
Absolutely. The person who is very traditionally Christian can find deep meaning in our services, as well as the person who believes in God and whose main focus on Jesus is as a teacher.
So Jesus as a master, in a
master.
sense. And there, perhaps, we don't know for sure, but we think there were many masters of wisdom.
Yes.
Let's hope.
Absolutely are.
We suspect Buddha was one.
Absolutely.
And a Buddhist would be very comfortable in a Unity service.
Yes, I've been to a Unity service. I used to go to Unity with my grandmother.
Really?
And she had a little pamphlet. It was more than a pamphlet. It was, I think, daily readings, as I recall.
Daily Word.
The Daily Word.
Yes.
Exactly. And so every day you'd read the Daily Word and it would inspire you, and on you'd go. But so positivity is involved, not much dogma.
No, very little.
Kneeling,
No.
hats,
We don't.
All optional.
all optional.
We avoid-
So there's the free spirit aspect of it, in a sense.
Very
We
much.
avoid trying to tell people what to think, just help them find ways to think creatively.
Right. So we're all children of God. How is God defined? As a spirit, as a Father, Son, Holy Ghost, as...
All of that and principle. The principle of love, of order, of wisdom, all those beautiful creative aspects that we think about God are all embodied in that principle of God that we know.
So in essence, the light is inside all of us.
Absolutely.
See, I did pay
time and
attention
time
to
again.
Granny's
You
book,
did.
didn't I?
You did. He said that he was the light of the world, and he also said, so are you.
Well, it's empowering. And it's not shameful. And in essence, do you believe we're born good?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
we believe that people are born inherently good.
Mm-hmm. And occasionally we fall off the path.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. Who started Unity? What's the history?
Charles and Myrtle Fillmore in 1889. They had, actually Myrtle began with her healing. She was healed of tuberculosis, and she had had it for a number of years. And through prayer and meditation, she was healed of that. And she began praying with others, and they were benefited by her prayers, and she worked with people to learn how to pray, and it expanded and continues today for 120 years as Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of Unity.
Okay, so there's the power of prayer, obviously, group prayer, individual prayer, praying to one God, an infinite source, a mountain, whom?
The ultimate mountain, is that what your question is?
Yes.
Obviously, we're back to the Spirit that is God, inherent in not only all people, but all things. Our belief is very simple. There is not God and you or me or anything else. There's only God as you, me, and everybody and everything else also.
And the golden rule fits in there, I'm sure, as it does in almost every religion.
One part of the body should not harm the other part of the body. We're all part of the one body.
And do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and just do it, and pay attention, and be kind, and all of that.
Yes.
Did you coin the term celebration of life?
I certainly was.
Or is that just a rumor?
No, it's not just a rumor. The truth is that I was the first one who ever said it in my presence. I started studying after I was graduated from seminary, and after interviewing people who were in what was then called a terminally ill ward, after interviewing them for doing study in thanatology, all of the aspects of death, dying, bereavement, and so on. When I started doing what had been being called funerals, I said, I can't do that. I celebrate the lives of these people that I am now doing the service for. People I didn't know, I just was meeting them in the hospital as they were dying. And so I said, I have to celebrate it. And so I started telling funeral homes, don't write anything about that says it's a funeral, it's a celebration of life. Because people don't go to funerals because somebody died. They go because they lived.
Yes, and we hope that ours is a big one.
Yes.
You know, and that we leave a legacy and all of that. But most of my friends say, when I go, and it's obvious I will one day, have a big party, like celebrate me.
Right.
Make death, if you can, a joyous transition, or realize that my death will be a joyous transition. And yet we have great fear of death, as you know so well.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes,
Well,
we
that's
do.
one of the things that I was after, and quite a bit of that was published in several books. None of them did I author alone. I had at least one that was a co-author. Others were multiple authors in death, dying, and bereavement. But that was actually the beginning of hospice in the United States. It was the foundation of thanatology, and that organization didn't spawn it, but the inspiration of that organization caused others to spawn hospice in the U.S., though it had already started in England.
Interesting, hospice, palliative care. So thanatology itself, the word means?
Death, dying, bereavement, and related phenomena. It came originally from the Greek thanatos, which was the closest word already in existence that we could use. We created the word thanatology. So
Okay,
That's
so
how
if
we
I
got
didn't
it.
know it, it's not because I wasn't paying attention in university.
No, no, it wasn't.
That's good. So,
But you know, Fanny, on a really practical basis, like any religion, there are multiple experiences. So some people may wonder how you get your toe in the water. And one of the things we're offering on Wednesday, the 21st, is our candle lighting service at 7 p.m. And you can get a flavor of what unity is about through that special service. And we have some wonderful musicians, and it'll be a marvelous
I'm sure,
opportunity.
a celebration,
A
albeit not of
celebration.
death that
No,
we know
not
of.
of death.
That's right.
No, but a marvelous celebration
Yes.
this time of year, because this time of year, for whether you're Christian or not, has deep meaning. People seem to be a little more caring, a little more connected, a little more harried. Well, you know
All of
that as a
that,
marriage and
yes.
family counselor, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So in your church work, do you do marriage and family counseling? Is that all part of it, or is that a job another day, another time?
No, it's all part of the church work.
How'd you get
How
into
it-
that? Why?
It was another calling. It was one of those things that spoke to me so clearly, and I thought I was going to look for a Master of Education because that's what I was doing, and what really spoke to me was the marriage and family aspect, and so I pursued that, and it has dovetailed so beautifully with the ministry, and it is, one does not have to be involved with Unity to seek my services. But
Right.
that is where I work.
But it is where you work. And is there a thread that runs through it, a specific thread, a unity thread that runs through marriage and family counseling for you? Or is it like any other marriage and family counselor? It's not, you don't say to somebody, you must go out and find a God or a Jesus or a Buddha.
No,
No.
I help the people find the potential within themselves and help to find their answers, and that's very consistent with Unity's philosophy.
And I'm suspecting, and I don't know this for sure, that Unity embraced same-sex marriage long before some of the other churches or the other
Absolutely.
centers.
I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure too, but I don't know that.
Yeah.
You probably know
Well,
that.
it was
At
back
least
in-
50 or 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, okay. When we come back, we'll talk more about the season and the Unity Center with the Mosleys, Glenn and Martha Mosley, both Unity ministers.